This episode is proudly brought to you by the members of the You Run Podcast Network. All shows can be found at yourunpodcast.com. So go and find your new podcast addiction today. You want to die tonight?
The dad jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. The passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too. Your words paint pictures of darkness and dread, leaving me grinning long after I fled. But
more dust, more ashes, more disappointment.
Pretty much sums up this month. Hello and welcome to the You Run Podcast Horror Movie Review. My name is Scott.
And my name is Mark.
And we are back with another wonderful episode that we bring you every single Monday. I don't know where I am. This month has been horrific.
Yeah, we've got through some shit, to be fair.
Yeah, we're never doing. Do you remember when you said we were never doing horror adjacent month again? We're never doing shit month again. These
these are great movies if you space them out throughout the year. If you do an entire month of them, it's a fucking drag, man.
It's a slog.
Like, it's that much of a problem that I'm ready to watch an A24 movie again.
I would take an A24 month after the month we've just had. We are a horror movie review show. We review movies that you select on our Instagram polls. We are at the very, very end of Balls to the Wall month, where we've reviewed all the things that no one reviews for fucking good reason. If you've never listened to the show before, we start off by giving you a brief overview of the film. Then we give a deep dive into everything we liked and we didn't like. Later on, we've got some movie facts. Today, we have a guest and we have a quiz, one of the last attempts at Broken Spirit, to try and catch Alex before Alex receives his prize of a years-long subscription to our Patreon for winning the whole season. So he may still dip out. Do you reckon?
I don't know. It's tough to beat.
Well, 10 out of 10, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, Alex got 10 out of 10, didn't he? You know what
Yeah.
I'm like, man? I don't remember facts. Not without official score charts in front of me. I was saying it then as if I should know what we were talking about, as if Alex did really well. I'm like, did he? How far did he get? Yeah, he got perfect.
Yeah, he was perfect. So he can only be tied.
So if he ties, what do we do then?
Two people get prizes.
No, surely we should have a head-to-head, a buzzer round of Alex and BP. That would be awesome. Do it on our Patreon.
That's not a bad shout, actually. If BP or whoever our guest is in December catches Alex, we'll have to get them both on, not for a full episode, just both on, just for a buzzer round of quizzing.
Yeah.
We'll give them both a stupid buzzer because that would be awesome.
Excellent. Yeah, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's provided that someone catches Alex.
This is true because he's been out in front now since when did we have Alex on?
Part of the year, wasn't it?
It's been a long time. As I said, today we're joined by a guest. We're joined by a guest who actually owes us an episode because when he was due to come on with us before, the Let's Talk Horror channel kind of went on hiatus, much to my disgust, because I listened to it every week and I was annoyed I couldn't listen to it. But he has returned. His show's awesome. He's awesome. If you listen to the show, you've met BP before. So welcome to the show, BP of the Let's Talk Horror channel.
Hello. From London. I'm happy to be back. I'm excited.
Welcome back.
I'm glad you're back. Yeah, welcome back. And welcome back to podcasting. You've been doing it for ages since we've had you on, but welcome back. You've had a long hiatus.
Yeah, too long. And I was going absolutely mental. And then I realised how much I needed this. And now I've come back to it. I've realised how much I fucking hate it. But at the same time, I still love it. It's a love-hate relationship with this. I think a lot. Yeah, everybody has it. You know, it's a love-hate relationship.
There's some months where we're covering some fucking dreadful stuff. Like this month where I'm like, I don't need this shit in my life every week.
Yeah, it gets really hard work, and it's the planning and everything like that. And you're like, oh, who am I doing it for? And then you're like, oh, this guy up here. So then that's when you remember. You're like, oh yeah, that keeps the demons at bay sometimes. But also, I didn't even realize I was doing a quiz. Normally I keep track of everything of like when you do the post and stuff. So if I'm gonna fucking lose a quiz and be so sad. So have I got to do a quiz?
It's broken spirit, man. Every guest has to take it. It's a rite of passage. You know that.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, I'll give it a good go, but I'm going to show how fucking little I know about anything.
Well, we've just been pre-planning that this might end up in a draw, so let's not make it too anticlimactic just yet.
Okay. All right. I'm going to be fucking the best person ever.
That's more like it. There we go. That's the
spirit. Today, all of you wonderful listeners voted on a movie that I have held in such high regard since I first saw it when I was a teenager. I was excited. I bigged it up to Mark. I bigged it up to Lisa. I bigged it up to anyone who would listen about how much I love this stupid comic book movie from the 90s. And then I put it on. And, well, we'll get into it. Today we are looking at Spawn from 1997, I believe. 97.
77. I think it's
97. I'm going to kick this off just by saying this did not fill my nostalgia gland with love like I thought it was going to.
See, I'm really surprised by that because when I watched it, obviously, as you guys know, this is a first time watch for me. The entire time I was watching it, I was like, oh, dude, if I'd have watched this when I was like 10, 11, 12, I'd be having such a good fucking time right now. So I'm disappointed to hear that you guys didn't go back and have that love and that sort of warm Care Bear feeling in your tummies watching it.
No,
I absolutely feel violated. And that's a little play on one of the character in it. Yeah, it was a weird watch, and it's interesting as well. You say that because I was hoping that I was going to get that.
Yeah,
but it when you watch this movie now as an adult, it hits so differently to when you were a kid. And I don't just mean the nostalgia side, but the characters, and obviously we get into it all. But like the characters, they just work so differently from being a kid to being an adult, and you're like, hang on, like this is a fucking kids movie. And I thought it was an adult movie, and that's how I feel about it. So it's a really weird watch now. Really weird.
Yeah, you see, the thing for me is like, I'm concerned now that I'm probably going to be the one who scores it the highest out of the three of us. And you two love this movie. At least I thought you did.
Yeah. The story, I'll give the story a lot of credit. The story is a really good story.
It's got a great source material, though.
Yeah, exactly. The comic books are fabulous. And it's basically the guy is a bad guy. He's an assassin. He ends up dying and sells his soul to the devil to come back to be with his wife. And he has to lead the devil's army is the overall plot of the movie. The problem I found with this is the opening scene is so 90s centric with unlimited ammo, machine guns and flips and kicks and dodgy one-liners. I'm like, oh man, like this is like
James Bond espionage mission.
Yeah, it's bad.
I liked it though. I grew up on movies like Under Siege and Rambo and Commando, and when this first scene came on, I was like, let's do this. This looks fucking awesome.
See, I'm pretty convinced that this movie is the downfall of action cinema because when I was watching it, I realized that it was around this time because the movies that you're mentioning and the movies that came before it, like there was something a little bit more to those movies. But when we started getting into like the later 90s, early 2000s, then the action movies, like they started becoming like lesser budget. They started becoming like more about the technology side, even though they didn't have the money to do it. There was more sci-fi elements, like obviously like with Spawn and stuff like that. So I feel like from this point onwards, like there was a real shift from like what action movies were from the point before this, and then Spawn came out and then fucked it, and then like it was and then they basically just like sort of gave everything lesser and lesser budgets. So even though the movies that you had like Van Damme, he brought out like Universal Soldier 3 The Return, which funny enough also had Michael J. White in it.
Yeah,
that movie is so awful, but they really take it so seriously, but it's shit. But there's something to love about that movie, and I can't find that love with this movie now. So it's going to be interesting to talk more about it. But I feel like this movie was the start of shit action.
It's funny you should mention that, because for me, I think this is a very weird time for cinema in the mid to late 90s. It massively fucked horror royally. Comedy was a bit of a downfall as well in this era. And the same can be said for sort of action superhero movies. I don't think they really picked themselves back up again until Blade came out, in all honesty. It's just a really weird time. Like, every single movie from the back half of the 90s just couldn't find its place. And I think you hit the nail on the head by mentioning the interjection of a lot more CGI, but the capabilities of being able to produce it wasn't there yet. So the reach for what was their limitations was too much, really, in my opinion, especially in the late 90s. It just, the experimental side of things, of trying to wow, was never really achieved until The Matrix came about, in my opinion. That was the one that sort of really set the ball rolling of what could be achieved with CGI in movies and computer visual graphics. And I think everything you see before it, The Lawnmower Man is a perfect example of the point I'm trying to make here, really.
Yeah, the Lawnmower Man, again, is very much like this. There's a lot of PlayStation 2 graphics in this.
That's Sega Genesis, that stuff in there, mate.
One thing that doesn't need CGI, and I think he's fucking great in this, I love him in everything he is, Martin Sheen. Whoever convinced Martin Sheen to be the villain in Spawn, that casting, definitely money involved, but that casting director, I reckon when he came out of that meeting, he strutted into that office and went, just signed Martin Sheen, going to play our villain, like cracking his knuckles and shit.
His Apocalypse Now one-liner was amazing in this movie, though.
Yeah. The funny thing is that he was the one that wanted to be in this. Because
really?
Because he wanted to be in a superhero movie. And he apparently, when he got the call, he was like in his kitchen and he was super excited about it. So, maybe lose a little bit of respect for Martin Sheen. I do, just getting excited. But I don't know, maybe it's just because he thought like this was going to be, I mean, everybody thought this was going to be a big fucking hit. Like this was like a comic that like was a cult comic, it was an adult comic. It was a cult comic, and I used to like read the comic. I've still got all my old Spawn comics somewhere and stuff. And it was a great comic. And this, so when this came out, like, and also they got like a $40 million budget for it, which isn't bad, for a movie like this that was, sort of coming out of nowhere. So they expected this to be a big, big deal, and then it sort of wasn't.
No. And the thing is, I remember when this came out, I remember all the marketing behind it. I remember like the image of Spawn we've got in the bottom corner. That poster was fucking everywhere. It was on buses, it was on bus stops, it was on billboards, it was on like every magazine you opened, every like newspaper you opened. Spawn was everywhere. And I think like opening weekend, I think this done really well. And then it was just like after, because this is like early days internet as well, so you get that opening weekend, and just through sheer word of mouth, people coming out and going, don't bother. Like that killed it, and it never recovered.
I see the hype surrounding it makes a lot more sense to me now, though. I know we spoke about this quite a lot recently with the upcoming announcement of the episode. Was like the toy line. I always had the toy line as a kid, and obviously when this came out in 96, 97, I'd have only been 7 or 8 years old, and I remember having all of the toys but never seeing the movie. So the prep for it and the marketing behind it was clearly a big deal at the time for a movie like this to tank so massively.
Yeah, and I imagine they sold a shitload of toys and merchandise. I reckon they probably made their money back on the back end through all the stuff that come afterwards. Like even now you can go and buy NECA Spawn movie figures, like even now, that are like 200-300 quid a throw.
But you know that garbage truck that I was talking about? Disappointingly, it wasn't in this movie, so God knows why the toy line exists. But I sent you that picture the other day when I was trying to track one down. Mate, that thing's nearly $1,000. If you want to buy one of those now, that is £1,000 to buy that box. Because I was like, oh, the nostalgia I have for that, that's awesome. I'm going to get it. I'm not going to get it.
You're not dropping £1,000.
No, I'm not, man. I'm not.
Yeah,
but I watched some videos on it on YouTube, and it's really fucking cool, man. And it brought back a lot of happy memories.
there's nostalgia and then there's stupidity. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's the thing. But also what's wild about this is that this came out in 97, and in the same year they brought out the animated series that was
Yeah.
a zillion times better, and it's still to this day, like, it's a great series. It's like 3 seasons.
Yeah,
It
I've seen this on
focuses
Prime.
more. Yeah, it focuses more on like what the comic is. So like in the comic, you've got these characters called Sam and Twitch, and they're like detectives, and it's more about like them sort of seeing their detective side of it, and it's more like Spawn sort of popped up and he's around, and then it becomes around the stories are centered around Sam and Twitch and centered around like Spawn doing things. But it's a lot more adult like the comic. It's a lot more horror like than as like the comic. It's a great, like, if anybody loves animated stuff, the Spawn animated series is amazing. But it's
Yeah, I
so
thought
weird
about
how
checking it out.
different this is.
Yeah, because what's the deal with the comics? Because I was like, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I genuinely thought the story to this was very compelling. I was like, this would make a fucking fantastic modern day retelling if somebody got the rights to do this. So I was like, maybe I should just go and read the comics. I've never read any of the Spawn comics. So I looked, and they have like a compendium where you can buy, and it's like the first 50 volumes, and then the second 50, and then the third 50. I think there was like 3 compendiums available, making it a total of 150 comics. How long did this thing run? And is it still running, or did they?
Yeah.
So it's still running.
Yeah,
Spawn's
it still
going.
runs. Yeah, it still goes.
Is it like a
It's-
different branch off? Like you've got the original Flash run, and then you've got Flash Rebirth, and then it's like
yeah,
different
you've got
characters where you've
multiple
got-
different like variations of like. The problem is that it's always like rewriting itself, like with everything.
Yeah.
Same with like, you know, your Marvel stuff. They just rewrite itself and stuff. But the original core, you know, of what it was and what Todd McFarlane created, he actually created a decent story. The basis of what Spawn is essentially, from what I remember, is essentially what the movie is. You know, Al Simmons is Spawn like he is in the comics. You know, Martin Sheen's character, he's a character in the comics. So you do have like quite a lot of basis from like taken from the comics and put into the movie, and the idea and the concept. And of course, you know, like the Violator and stuff like that. So the core concept of a lot of early Spawn is there.
That's the
But
thing,
it
like,
just
for me, like,
does it
wanna-
differently.
Yeah, so like one thing I really like about The Crow is there is a comic book adaptation, and it's a book. Same with The Watchmen. You know, you want to read The Watchmen, you go buy the like. That's what I like about graphic novels, is when I've got a start and a finish. This whole like issue run every single time, and then all of a sudden there's like a fucking sun appears and he takes a reign for the next 200 issues, and it's like, I can't be doing with that shit. But I think this would make a really good, solid, just a one-time purchase book that I can read from start to end. But if it's one of those that just drags on for years and years and years and introduces new characters to take on the Spawn mantle and stuff, I'm not that bothered.
Welcome to the comic book universe. They all do that.
I know, that's my point. I didn't know if Spawn was different and started off as one sort of big graphic novel like The Watchmen and Crow and things like that I could just pick up and just dive into for a couple of weeks.
No, it's all Todd McFarlane, because Todd McFarlane was working a lot with like things like Venom, stuff like that. He did like his artwork, because Todd McFarlane's the creator, but he's also like the artist as well. So
can I just ask as well, Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the same guy who went the toy line.
Yes.
Farland toy, right? Yeah, okay. I assumed that was the case, but I didn't want to just sort of.
Yeah, he is, and he still wants to make the movie. He wants to make a new Spawn
I
movie.
see it every couple of months. Todd McFarlane announces new productions. There's like Michelle Ali, the new guy from the Rebirth movie,
Blade.
supposed to be playing Blade. Apparently, he was supposed to be doing it. Michael B. Jordan was supposed to be doing it like 6 months ago. It's just forever changing all the time. But I don't. And one of those where I just don't think it'll ever come now.
No, and if you want a full update on exactly where that is and exactly where we're going, if you go to Patreon now and subscribe, there is a video there that explains where the Spawn reboot is and why it's not coming and why Jason Blum's an asshole. So that is now available.
Does Blumhouse have the rights to this?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Why are they not diving on that straight away with the shit they churn out?
Well, I think the problem is Todd McFarlane owns a lot still. And Todd McFarlane will not do it without the budget. He's like, I need the budget to do it. But obviously, Blumhouse won't give people the budget that they want, especially now because of all the recent flops that they've had.
I mean, you could understand Todd McFarlane's trepidations as well, considering the fucking budget massively hindered him on this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maz, you say that though, like the budget did have an implication on this. Like, there's a lot of CGI work in this. Some of the CGI work looks great. Even now, that cape looks fucking awesome. When he
you
busts through
shared
that
this on your
ceiling,
story on
Really?
Instagram, dude, and I
I
don't think it
love
looks
that
good.
cape.
I know you
No, it
love
looks-
it, but it looks shit.
It looks fucking jank. When I was watching it earlier, there are things that stand out, and the cape, it's just, it just didn't. For the time, they didn't have the textures, and that was the problem. They didn't have the right textures to add on to the CGI stuff. So the flow of it is all right, but the textures. But I mean, the worst is just like the whole like. It was like what you were saying earlier as well. Like we were saying, like the problem is like they were trying to test the waters of the technology, but rather than doing like, say, like what Jurassic Park was doing, where it was just like, by the way, this is CGI, but it's so fucking good you don't know because we're using it in the right way.
yeah,
Films like Spawn, they were like, well, now instead of building sets and stuff, we can create CGI hell. But yeah, it looks fucking awful. Like the monster thing, the devil thing, whatever it is, doesn't even move its mouth when it's talking.
it's just
You know
like
the
that.
thing is about that whole
I
scene as well that
thought-
really annoys me is like that particular creature design and the CGI used for the creature I could have tolerated, but the backdrop itself is a singular location backdrop. Every time he goes to hell, it's the same shot. So it's like, just build it practically. Just build that and then add the monster in, because I could have swallowed that a lot more than what we got, where it was a full glossy screen of just pure PS1 bullshit in my face. You know, they could have quite easily created a set design backdrop and introduced it like they do in like Mortal Kombat, or I mean, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, for instance, is even better than this shit. Do you know, like they create the backdrop, they incorporate the CGI into it, and that would have worked for me. That was a pill I could have swallowed. But the whole thing, the whole set itself, just completely rendered in the way it was, just looked dire, man.
What got me in that scene was not so much the set as like the CGI set. It was the additional like spawn of the Spawn army.
Yeah, they
If
look
you
so bad.
If you look, they've got like a block of 6 or 8, and then they've multiplied them. And if you like have a quick look, you've got like all like the spawns, like every 4th spawn along is doing the same thing as the one that's like 4 down. And like if you watch it and you catch it right, it's just they're like all mirroring each other. It's like they're doing some sort of weird dance. It's so funny.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
bad.
like you were saying, it was a weird time. And it's also fucking stupid as well, that bit, because that weird demon thing, he keeps on going like, if you don't lead my army, you will die. And I'm like, he's already fucking dead. Like, he gives a shit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He don't give a shit. But he keeps 2 or 3 times, he keeps saying like, oh, he's, you know, if you don't lead the army, I'll kill you. And he's like, well, I'm already dead. So he gives a shit.
It was nice of the devil to send him a spirit guide, though, and his spirit guide is the best part of the movie, without question.
Who's this? Is this a Monty Python Anglican man?
No, not him. The spirit guide the devil sent, John Linguini Leguizamo.
Oh yeah, John Linguini.
I just
Yeah,
call
I
him
like
John Luigi.
Yeah,
John Luigi. Yes, that's
it's
a good
me.
one.
It's a Luigi. The Violator. What a fabulously written, disgusting, vile, short, little, horrible man he is. But
I think
God,
he just does a
makes...
fantastic job of portraying him as well. Like, it must have been so, like, as well, you can see sometimes, because obviously he's very short in stature, you can see him sort of like almost like that Russian dance where you go hoi 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 hoi, like he's walking around like that all the time in those trousers, and you're like, oh dude, you're back. Like, I feel I'm at an age now where I'm like, oh, you're back, man. What are you doing to yourself?
The thing is, the things that he says are the things you would actually expect a demon to say. And I find it really entertaining, like where he's taunting Spawn and he's like, yeah, well, when you're gone, I'm going to take my turn on the Wanderer Express. And I'm like,
my favorite line is, I've got more tricks than your local hooker. That's a good one.
and that's at the kid's birthday party.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But
That's
a
creepy ass scene as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
is
kid's
creepy.
birthday party, man. Like, he goes all in on that as well. That was giving like John Wayne Gacy vibes to me.
yeah. It's weird because so when I And it's still to this day, but when I was a kid, I was blown away by the fact that like it was him. Like I had no idea it was him until I looked into it, and I was like, "There's no way that that's like John Luigi, whatever his name is, John Leguizamo. I just call him."
The annoying thing is, I know that Heather's already rang in once this year to tell us how to pronounce his name, and I know she's going to do it again this week.
Just Luigi, man. But he's so good, and when I was watching it, it's another thing that's like I'm sort of gutted about because I think he's still great in it, but the problem is he like there's moments he's in it that makes it like a kids movie. So there's loads of moments that he's in, and he's doing things like the cheerleading scene and stuff like that.
Yeah, I wasn't all for that, to be honest with you.
It's almost as if they've thrown that in there for him to be this character. Like they don't know this movie has like a big identity crisis. Like it doesn't know whether it wants to be the Spawn that it should be, or whether it wants to be. Because when this came out, I didn't realize this because I had this on VHS when it came out, and I didn't realize it because every time with the VHS, it always was a 15. Yeah, but I didn't realize
that's
that
a director's cut.
Yeah, on a theatrical release, it was a 12. And I didn't know that because I don't think I saw this at cinema, but I had it on the VHS like when it came out. But it got a 12 certificate at cinema. And then it makes more sense as to why it feels like more childlike because, obviously it was essentially for kids. They were like, let's make more money and take out all the adult stuff. But it's just weird. Like it doesn't know where it wants to be. Like it's got lines, like I said, about like the hooker line. Kids ain't going to get that. And there's loads of moments in it like that, but then you've got like the really fucking
that's
dumb
a product
shit
of the 90s as well, though, man. There's so many 90s kids movies that have lines like that in it that while you're a kid you never get, but then you go rewatch them as an adult, you're like, oh, fucking hell, that's a bit close to the wire. Because you understand it now.
Yeah, I think he does a great job. I think the practical effect work on his makeup and his suit, like all of that, he really does look the fucking part. And I like the fact that the way they've written the story is he's playing everybody against everybody. He's playing Martin Sheen against Spawn, Spawn against Martin Sheen, and he's doing it for his own gains.
Yeah,
like his end goal here is to get those two to kill each other because he wants to have sex with Spawn's wife, which he says repeatedly throughout. Which I'm like, do you know what? A demon wants to do something really horrible, but it kind of checks out. And I think he's great. I think Spawn. Let's talk about Spawn. So Spawn, practical rubber suit, I still think looks pretty good. It gives me,
it looks
like if anyone remembers Guyver or even...
There's a film called Star Kid, which was very reminiscent of this in terms... I don't know if you guys saw Star Kid. It was a similar sort of thing. It was like a kid went into the back of this mech suit. There's one scene that always stands out to me real particularly. The kid was hungry, but was stuck inside this mech suit, and he eats a burger. And the mech suit like chews it up into like a big condensed meatball and feeds it to. It's a weird fucking movie, but it was a 90s movie, man. Honestly, if you guys know what I'm talking about with a film called Star Kid, let me know.
Yeah, no, I don't. I remember Guyver, and there was one recently as well. What was
Psycho Gorman?
That's
Psycho Gorman. Awesome movie.
Again, it's that rubberized latex suit, and I still
Power Rangers.
They look great.
Yeah, the suit in this, that was one of my big things, was when I was watching, I was like, the suit still looks fucking awesome in this movie, but it looks a million times better when he's got the mask on, because like with most of these movies, they're in the comics, they've always got the masks and they're talking through the masks. Yeah. But yet in like the movies, they're like, they don't want them to do that because they can't, they want the emotion to show and all that sort of stuff. That's why most of the time in the Spider-Man movies, 75% of the movie he hasn't got a mask on.
Not so much these days. I think Deadpool's broken the mold with that and shown that it can be done rightly, especially like the new Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. They don't really do that so much anymore, but I know what you're saying, and that was one of the conversations me and Scott had prior to coming on this episode, was like, Spawn looked fantastic, but I really wish he'd have just fucking kept his mask on the entire movie, because even though they took the mask off, Michael just looked like a fucking pepperoni most of the movie anyway. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it looked terrible. They didn't look terrible, his makeup effects, because the practical effects in this movie throughout, when used, were pretty impressive. But it was just one of those scenes where it's like, this would be a lot more impactful if you were in costume. You know,
Yeah.
like it seemed like every action sequence immediately. The only time he ever seemed to put it on was for defense. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and-
no, because that's not the character you are, because you would just be full all the time. You know what I mean? And it's like, it
the
was a
thing is,
poor
like,
decision made by the
do
movie.
you think part of that was the fact that they wanted to show it going on though? Because I'll be honest, when he's in that ballroom and he starts getting shot at, and that mask goes like that, it's fucking cool. Like I love the fact that
it's
kind
purely
of
from an impact point, isn't it? It's like for a storytelling, it's like we can just have him speaking like, you know, like a burnt, you know, turd or whatever he is, you know, and then we can just have the impact of him putting on this fucking awesome mask. And there's like a really cool shot as well, where when I was watching it and I was just like, that's still such a fucking like proper like Spawn looking shot where he's there and he's like at the forefront, then you've got the Violator behind him and he starts getting angry and you can see the sort of slight shift in his brow where he's getting angry and the like little bit of green light starts coming out, and you're like, that could have been the fucking movie, you know what I mean? Like you could have done that. But also the gutting thing as well is that the cape is a huge part of the comics, because the cape is its own thing. I mean, Spawn even has fights with his cape in the comics.
Oh, so it's like a Doctor Strange kind of thing.
Yeah, it's his own thing. It's like it's essentially like got its own, like, you know, own thing, you know, it is its own entity. So that's why, like in the movie, they only really show that by the bit where he falls off the building, then it's like sort of takes him away. Or like where he's blending into the building, which is like that fucking dumb bit where he blends into the building and then suddenly, oh, why not just stay there, you know, hidden? And then suddenly he just goes, no, I'm going to appear. And then they're like, there he is.
I'm going to appear when the searchlights get shot at, and then I'm going to fly away.
Yeah, stupid dumb fucking cape. But yeah, it's just annoyingly, because of the fact that they chose the CGI route, that's why they didn't have more of the cape in the movie, because they realized it didn't look good enough to have him wearing it, because they did make a physical cape.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what was really cool is when they made this movie, they made two costumes. One was the costume that they have in the movie, but just for like shits and giggles, they basically made a movie accurate suit. So it was the same suit, but it just had more of the colors, because in the movie you can sort of see it, but basically Spawn's suit is like black and white, but the side bits here are all red. And in the movie you can see a slight darker red to the side of it. But in the comics, it's all completely red. So they made that two suits, one for that's the movie suit and one's the comic accurate suit. And then they made a cape. So in the promotional material and in the promotional photos, you can actually see the pictures of him with the cape they were going to use. And it looks so fucking cool, but they didn't use it at all in the movie, which is annoying.
I think that happens a lot in movies. They make a creative choice to go away from the original concept art of something to make it its own thing. And let's be honest, every single superhero character that we've seen in comics, when we watch them in a movie, we want them to be in the suit. Everyone wanted Wolverine to be in the yellow costume with the mask and the like side ear bits. For fucking 20 years we had to wait. And when it happened, everyone went, that's fucking awesome. Why didn't you do that 5 movies ago? So I think studios are starting to learn now that we want it accurate to the comics. But this one definitely didn't. My favorite bit in this movie by far is the bit where he basically tells the Violator to fuck off. And the Violator goes, I'm not the Vindicator. And he gives him that whole speech. And then he turns into like that massive, like, it's not stop motion, but like that massive, like practical effects monster. That bit, there's a quick bit in there where Spawn is in his costume and his eyes kind of like open wider, where he's gone, oh fuck, because he's giving like Spawn's giving it the bigger go. I'm gonna kick the fuck out of you, little clown, and then the clown turns into this massive monster, and Spawn's like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
It's a really cool fight sequence as well. The cinematography is really good, and the choreography is really, really good for this fight sequence as well. I like the Vindicator as a character, and I also like the fact that he's hidden away for the majority of the movie by the clown persona.
Well, the funny thing is, so the line that you were saying you like, Scott, where he's saying, I'm not the Vindicator or whatever, or the Vibrator or whatever, apart from the Vibrator bit, the other people, the other things that he's saying are actually like other demons like him in the comics. Yeah, that's it, in the comics. So it's sort of like a little bit of a nod to anybody that knows the comics. They're like, oh, he's saying like his brother's names and stuff.
Yeah, it's like he says, I've actually got it in our facts.
Oh, yeah.
We're doing it now. So we've got, he's like, I'm not the Vindicator, I'm not the Victimizer, I'm not the Vaporizer or the Vibrator. I am the Violator. And all of those are brothers in the comic that are.
Well, there's one called the Vibrator.
No, apart from him.
No.
No, he doesn't do anything apart from just go around just fucking hell. Just falling off buildings all the time.
I find the end of this movie quite anticlimactic. I find Martin Sheen as a villain a bit anticlimactic. So like the whole thing is like they've attached this heart monitor to him that if he dies, then this biochemical's released, because it's the 90s. We've got to have a biochemical subplot. And like the way Spawn takes that out of him, I'm like, oh, so that whole thing you've built for the last hour and 10 minutes going, he's going to release it and Spawn can't kill him. He's untouchable. And Spawn just like laser eyes it out and just like vaporizes it. I'm like,
yeah, but that wouldn't work because it wouldn't be connected to his heartbeat anymore, so it would detonate. I found that whole thing bullshit.
Yeah.
But the thing that pissed me off the most about the ending is the scene with the clown. No, it's a scene with Spawn's wife where she dies, and then all of a sudden she comes back as like the Exorcist, and it's kicking off. I was like, oh shit, Melissa Clarke, she's back. She's gone to hell when she got killed early on in the movie. Now she's back and they're going to have this big fight and she's going to reveal herself as to be an assassin of hell and all the rest of it. And it was just a clown pretending to be his wife, which again, it got a chuckle out of me and it was funny. You know what I mean? But the potential for it to be Melissa Clarke coming back, I was like, oh, this could be really, really cool. Like we'll have this big showdown. She'll turn out to be like this really awesome demon possessed version of a like Return of the Living Dead 3 kind of thing all over again. And it just weren't, man. And I was like, oh, I'm so disappointed by this.
Yeah. And like the priest, the woman, the priest character, like her fight with Spawn, her first fight with Spawn is, again, that's anticlimactic as well. Like she is the badass assassin and she's fucking raining bullets down on him. And then he goes through a door and then he kind of steps out from behind a curtain like, ta-da! And she goes, of all the things to do, she goes to kick him in the nuts. And he's got that, I don't even know what it is.
It's like that belt thing that just bites it.
Yeah, cop protection belt.
Cop protection, like bites her ankle and she like screams. Then he just throws her off a balcony. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, she was very wasted in this movie, which was a shame. And again, that's why, because of the character she is and the actress who was playing her, I was like, that can't be it. She's died in like the first 30 minutes. Surely she's going to come back. And then when we had the whole scene with his wife, I was like, yes, it's going to turn out to be her. This is going to be fucking mega. And it was disappointing, man.
I will save this for facts because she was intended to come back.
Right. Okay.
I
cool.
was going to say that, and I was like,
"That's why I jumped in."
I do this every week, mate. Every week, I'm like, "Oh, I've got to say this thing," and I'm like, "Actually, no, Scott's probably got it for later."
Yeah, I think BP has burnt through pretty much all of them so far.
I'm fucking hell. Sorry, I won't say anymore. I'll shut up. But do you know what's weird as well? Is that this movie, when I was watching it as well, you can really tell that it was made by a director who like is pretty shit. Like and also what's weird is that, like, have you seen the list of movies that he's gone on to make after this? They're all fucking kids movies. They're like Garfield movies, but not like the Bill Murray ones. They're cartoon Garfield movies. Like, after this, he didn't make anything of like any value. They were like, no, you're done. Like,
this movie ruined his career.
Yeah. And but I can see why.
Yeah, I get it as well. Don't you worry. I get it. I get why he didn't work very much after this. One thing that I do want to ask you guys about is the dog.
And
Spaz.
Spaz, right? I mean, let's be honest. It shouldn't be called Spaz.
No, but when he said the dog's name, I'm like, brilliant. Back to a time where that was okay to say. And
but again, the reason I'm bringing it up is because is Spaz in the comics? Because in the opening credits to this movie, as the credits are rolling, the director of cinematography is something. His middle name is Spaz, so it's obviously his nickname. So I'm assuming it's an homage to the director of cinematography for this movie.
Yes, yeah. So I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if that was your other fact. But
if it is, I don't care. That was my question. That's what I need to know, because I'd seen it coming up, and immediately when the opening credits were rolling, I was like, oh man, everyone's calling you Spaz on site. That's a bit tight.
Yeah. But there's also
and then
a lot
the
of
dog
other
Spaz. I was like, oh right, okay, I get it now. That's obviously homage to the cinematographer.
Yeah. There's a lot of other things in this movie that is very of the time that they should not be saying. And then you're like, even now, like, you know, because the thing is these things, there's a lot of things that should never be said anyway, irrelevant of time. It's just that's how they always say, oh, it's because of the time. You know, it's like when you used to get beaten the shit out of by your parents, and then they're like, and then you're like, why do you do that to me? And they're like, well, it's the time. And you're like, no, it's not to do with the fucking time. You just don't hurt your kids. It's just the way that it works. You don't beat your kids up, and that's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times I've wanted to.
No, don't get me wrong. Yeah, like that's the thing. But like but just because of a time, you know, like it doesn't give you a fucking get out of jail card. You know what I mean? And that's just history. You know, that's what I hate about history is that it constantly pulls out the time get out of jail card with the time. So it's never right when we ever get to this sort of shit in these movies. But it's so weird that it happened. So it's like, as much as I hate the time we live in now because of the movies are mostly shit, but the problem is at least we don't actually have all these like things that are so actually like really wrong to say about people, you know what I mean? At least we're more conscious of that.
I get that. But one thing that really bothers me about stuff like that these days is that cancel culture persona that everybody seems to have, where they go back and like, we're going to cancel you for something you did 20 years ago. And it's like, as much as, like you say, you're not justifying, well, it was a product of the time, but also at the same time, you can't go back and vindicate somebody for something.
You can't erase it. No.
Do you know what I mean? It's like when they pull out old episodes of like Only Fools and Horses off telly and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's not okay for some of the language that was used in that show. But then like to go back and eradicate it from history is just another thing altogether, and then hold people like culpable for it in modern day times is just a thing that I can't wrap my head around. I can't wrap my head around mentality like that these days.
Well, what's weird as well is that what they're not really understanding as well is that the terminology that they're using now, in God knows how many years time, people are going to be saying the same thing about the terminology they're using. Yeah, so that's the problem, is that it's constantly always going to be, everything is always going to be by someone, some people or whatever around the world at some point in time. Everything we say is going to be wrong.
Do you know the one that I heard recently that apparently now by the younger generation is really offensive? Thumbs up.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, he's probably not.
Thumbs up is now to the new generation is the equivalent of doing that.
Oh, really?
I hate kids of today. I really hate today's youth, honestly. 6'7", this 6'7" bullshit that's going around at the minute.
I don't know
what it is. Swear to God, right? I'm going to start drowning teenagers in water. This fucking 6'7" thing. I have an apprentice. He's like 21 years old. The worst. Do you know what the worst thing is that they're doing right now? That fucking infuriates me more than anything. Good boy. Has anyone said good boy to you yet? Do you know, like if you do something, like you must get it with your lads at home. Like if they're like, oh, can you get me the milk out the fridge? And you give them the milk and they say to you, good boy. Oh, dude, dude,
I'd
I
lamp 'em.
swear to
I'd
God,
fu- I'd knock 'em
I'm
out.
gonna start burying people.
I have two teenage sons who are now officially adults before anyone complains. Both of them have done it in the last 6 months. Both of them got a slap round the back of the head with a little bit of pep behind it.
Yeah.
Followed
dude,
by,
I would be
don't
busting
call
out
me
the old
a
gold
fucking...
Stone Cold Steve Austin shit, mate. I would be choke slamming.
Just going around
the man-
stuttering people.
people's elbow, you know, I'd be
Yeah.
fucking all up. If my apprentice did it to me the other week, and he ran for his life because he could see the fury in my face when he did it.
See, luckily, I have ever since I am the most socially unaware person purposefully that you will ever meet in your life. Like, I don't watch the news. I'm thick as shit. Like, I have no academic brain or whatsoever. Like, I'm dumb. I have no understanding of anything that's going on socially in the world. So all of this stuff, I don't have like the socials apart from Let's Talk Horror. So like, I am so purposefully away from everything that like I know nothing that goes on. So when you say all this sort of stuff to me, I'm like, I've never heard it before, but I still get fucking angry by it.
Yeah, honestly, dude, it's the most infuriating thing. And the age gap between me and my apprentice is like nearly 15 years, and he comes to work with all this stupid TikTok fucking trendy shit that's going on and says all this jargon to me, and half the time it's like he's speaking a foreign language. I'm like, dude, what are you even saying to me? I thought I was cool. I thought I was a pretty cool person, and he comes with all this stupid shit, and I still, after fucking hours of going on Google, do not know what 6'7" means.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm happy that I don't. Like, I tend to not go out anymore because I tend to pretty much always get into fights every time I go out because I can't hold it in. If somebody's being a fucking moron, I'm just going to laugh at them. But like, for them, the way that they speak is like their modern day language, like you're saying. But to me, I'm like, even though I know that I'm thick as shit, you sound like a Neanderthal. Like, you sound like a fucking moron. And I'm not going to hide like me not thinking. Like, if somebody's saying stuff, I'll be like, you sound like a fucking tit. And, you know, that gets me in trouble. That's why my missus hates me going out anyway.
It's the best way to be, man.
Is there anything else we want to talk about Spawn before we roll on a little bit further?
I think...
Go on, go, you go, BP.
Yeah, I just think that... I've got. There's a few things that I've got here. Basically, that I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack is incredible. This is like, you know, in the 90s where we got it. But there's that bit. One of my favorite moments in the movie is where it hits, and it sort of feels like The Crow. And you've got the bit where he first sort of like is like when he comes out Pepper Army Man, and he's walking through the alleyway, and then you get like the Marilyn Manson song coming on. And that's a fucking
Rob Zombie's
song.
Halloween 2 shit, man. He looks cool, doesn't he?
yeah, that's it. Yeah, and he's walking thing, and you've got that, and it sort of reminded me of The Crow a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay, like this is pretty badass. But then they cut the fucking song like really badly, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, like at least learn to edit. The editing in this movie is pretty shit.
It's dreadful.
Well, this what brings me to one of the things that I wanted to talk about before we cut it off. The editing in this movie is fucking diabolical. The transition from scene to scene is some of the worst I have seen in it's probably just the worst I've ever seen. If anybody ever asked me to describe to them how to not edit and transition a scene from scene in a movie, I would say go and watch Spawn and do everything the opposite of what that movie did, because they do this weird thing from like they'll break like the most awkward time in conversations between characters, and they'll do it like every single one's different as well. It's like they're just experimenting throughout. So sometimes they'll have like a weird blur from the top corner down to the bottom, and then they'll use like this green, you know, like the green Spawn eyes thing to cover the screen, and that looks fucking dreadful. And it's just so unnatural all the time, and it proper bothered me. It really, really bothered me throughout this movie, and every time it did it, which was like all the time, I was like, oh, fucking hell, man, like, stop it, please stop it. Like, you're really hurting my eyes doing this.
Yeah, the one thing that bothered me in this is what should we call him? The Knights Templar Knight. Like
Monty Python dude.
Yeah. I have been protecting this world for blah 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 100 years. When they go to hell, and they fight, and he like instantly snaps his like blade off his hand
Absolutely fucking useless.
and doesn't die and comes back out, and like Spawn is like, "You done good," and Spawn's like, "Yeah, I saved you." He's like, "Well, kind of." No, not fucking kind of. You would have died. Like that bloke would have ripped you limb from limb, but Spawn saved you. And he's like he struts around like he's the king of the castle. Spawn would have ripped him to shreds in like a second. It annoyed
Yeah,
the
he's
fuck
got
out
this
of me.
whole fucking Giles from Buffy persona about him, but like
Yeah.
nothing about him is explained, which really bothered me. Like, I don't get who he is, why he's fighting the good fight, for what reason. And he talks about having this dark past similar to Spawn, but he chose the light. And like the whole alleyway scene that they're all living in, it's like, I don't get where this is. Is this modern times? Is this what the world has become in the 5 years of normality since Spawn got Pepper Armied? Like, there is no clear clarification on the weirdness of the time jump within 5 years and how they'd got to such a dystopian place in history. Like, it was all so dumbfounding to me. And I couldn't pick it up. And I watched this movie twice because it was a real big bugbear of mine. I was like, I don't want to be too harsh on this segment when we go into the review because it proper annoyed me. But I couldn't get no clarification on it on the second watch either. We get the opening monologue from the guy from Monty Python early on as he's sort of introducing the story before
Which
the main...
I hate the fucking narration.
Fucking terrible. But we get... That's the only real sort of bit of history we get from that character before the story starts. But even that has no real... It's so vague. There's so much vagueness about what he's saying that it's very difficult to pinpoint him as a character and his relevance to what he's saying early on and how it then incorporates to the story that we're following as we're following Spawn's character. So for me, considering this is based so heavily on source material, it's so poorly put together in such a fluid narrative.
Yeah,
and again,
they're
that might
like-
be a fault of the editing. That might be an editing issue.
Well, it feels like they're like, well, this is from the comics, so we're add this, but also we want to try and make a movie, so we need to add this, and it just doesn't like gel together whatsoever. The only couple of things that I had was every time I watch this, although I say every time I watch this, I've watched this twice more than I have in the last 15, 20 years or whatever. But I completely forgot that the kid who's the homeless kid is the kid from New Nightmare. And Pet Sematary.
I met him a couple of weeks ago. He signed my Pet Sematary VHS to... I must have talked to him about half an hour, and then he came to the after party at For Love of Horror, which was wild. And then me and him just chilled and had beers, man. It was so cool. And then I didn't know he was in Spawn, and I watched this movie, and I was like, "Oh, dude, if I knew you was in Spawn, I would not have bought you that beer."
But more importantly, he's the kid in Kindergarten Cop that goes, "Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina." I'm lucky I wasn't there, because if I'd have done, I would have met it. I would have said that to him, and he would have been right pissed off with me.
He's a really, really, really cool dude, man.
I've heard he's really nice.
He's awesome, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, the For Love of Horror after party, you don't usually get many people who are there throughout the day signing autographs and stuff, then attending the party. But he was there, man, just mincing and hanging around. And it was a really quiet year this year. There was me and Horror Movie Maniacs just chilling, and we ended up just hanging out with him for quite a while. And he was a really, really cool dude. You know, he knocked one of the Horror Movie Maniacs beers over, and then went straight to the bar and just bought him another beer as if it was just like normal, just queuing up with normal people and just buying. And he's awesome, man. He's really, really cool. And he was great in the recent Dave McRae Nightmare on Elm Street continuation of the New Nightmare. He was fantastic in that. But yeah, sidetracking completely, but he's a really cool dude. And I didn't know he was in this movie.
And the only other thing that I've got is this film is basically RoboCop. So I've written everything down, literally everything. So both films, the main characters working essentially for like the government. Obviously, it's a completely different sort of way. Obviously, RoboCop's obviously before when Murphy's a cop, but it's still government sort of thing. But then both the films depict violent deaths for the main character. So obviously it's way more violent as what we see, or graphic as when we see it in RoboCop. And the main character's death robbed him of his family and his normal life. The character is eventually seeking revenge for his death. The rampant city corruption that the main character must contend with that's very similar to sort of thing with everything that's going on. And then the advancement of technology that serves as a huge purpose for the entire story. So that's the thing as well with, with RoboCop, it's the physical technology. With Spawn, it's about, the technology he has on him. So I'm wondering whether they just let's just fucking do RoboCop shit.
I mean, to be honest with you, you could probably apply that narrative to quite a lot of movies of this time.
To everything. RoboCop, the movie that made every other movie.
That's the tagline for this episode.
Yeah. Fuck Spawn, watch RoboCop.
No, don't do that. I didn't like RoboCop that much either. Don't get me started.
I can't believe it.
Yeah,
that scared the shit out of me. That was like a fucking jump scare. But no, RoboCop is one of my most favourite and most watched movies of all time. But so I won't say anything more.
Nerds.
No, and Mark, on that horrible note, you can now do your recommend account, and you're not getting a soundbite. I'm going to make everyone wait painfully.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
You were mean to. Hold on, I'll give you. Hold on.
2,000 years later.
I was just going to do the RoboCop theme. Bum, 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 bum.
To be fair, I do like that in RoboCop. That is a cool soundtrack. So this week's recommended account is Pod Any Ma. Pod Any Ma is an account that makes pixel art animation stories really, really cool. The reason why this one came up into my newsfeed recently is because they're currently doing a recap of Stranger Things seasons in 1 minute via pixel art animation. Hilarious. They recapped season 1 as the time of recording this. I'm assuming they're going to do 2, 3, and 4 on the lead up to Stranger Things 5 coming out later on this month or this week as of recording this episode.
Yeah.
Depending on when it comes out. They do some really, really cool stuff. They do really memorable scenes from a lot of sitcoms and movies, so you'll get really impactful Office scenes or Friends scenes or just movies in general, but put them in that sort of 16-bit Pokemon Game Boy art style, and it's fantastic. I'd spent hours looking scrolling this shit, but for anybody who's hyped for Stranger Things season 5, this is currently what this account is working on, and it's really entertaining to watch them. They did on the Stranger Things 1. It was Joyce Byers. Obviously, they do the whole Will disappearing thing, and then they get to the Joyce Byers and Jonathan, and the lights start flashing, and it's Will. It's not. They don't speaking it. They just do meeps and stuff. It's funny. I'm describing it poorly. Go check this account out. It's Pod Anymar, and that's spelled PODANYMAR. They're on Instagram, and as always, give them a like, give them a follow, and comment that the Urim Podcast sent you there.
In a complete change to what we normally do in our ads, we are not advertising anyone in the Urim Podcast network, and the rest of the network aren't advertising anyone else who's in the network. Instead, we've all chosen a creator or a person who lives in our lives or our community that we wanted to support. And here on Horror Movie Review, we chose BP on the Let's Talk Horror channel. BP is one of the most, if not the most genuine person I have ever met. He wears his heart on his sleeve and reviews horror movies in exactly the same way. He is so authentic and so cool. He gives production facts, he gives deep dives into horror, and he really does it from the heart, which is so rare from a podcaster. And he's awesome, and so is his show. So that's Let's Talk Horror channel. You'll find them on all the socials, and you'll find them on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and everywhere else. So go and give BP the flowers he deserves. Go and support the Let's Talk Horror channel, and do that now. You can do it. You can pause this and go and do that. And while you do that, we're going to go back to the show.
Hang on a minute.
Who is this BP character you're referring to?
I don't
know who you mean.
We've been advertising BP all month, and honest to God, it was not the plan to have BP on for this month. But BP, that is BP, and he's now here, so you can hear him. How awesome!
Yeah, he was supposed to be here 6 months ago. What were we supposed to do for that episode?
Oh, it was. Fuck! It was it. The scientist. Oh no, I can't fucking even remember now. I had it in my head. No, it wasn't. I think it was because I wanted to do one, and then it ended up not being something to do with.
I think you even picked it. I think you picked the episode.
Oh, I don't.
Oh yeah, was we going to do Chainsaw Hookers? and then we
Yeah.
sacked off because BP didn't come.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we never done that episode. The
No.
listeners never got Texas Chainsaw Hookers. So, yeah.
Well, a big thank you for all. I didn't even know that was happening. So in real time, if anybody had seen my reaction in real time, I got a proper like fright because I was just like, hang on, who's this mug? Oh, it's my show.
Yeah, you want to be careful though, man, because you're letting everybody know that you don't listen to us. So
I do listen to you, but obviously not all of it, obviously. But no, I do. No, I do listen. There are certain shows that I listen to, and yours is one of them. And then obviously do Pod Monster. Like basically, pretty much anybody that's on your network is pretty much are the ones that I listen to. So
that seems to be the general gist from our network. They all seem to support each other, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the network. Make sure you go and follow Mark's recommended account of the week, and make sure you go and support BP at the Let's Talk Horror channel. Later on, he'll tell you exactly where you can find him. Also, if you want to support us, really support us, you can do that by going to patreon.com/YouRunPodcast.
Credits will do fine.
Credits will do fine. You may pay, and when you pay, as of the 1st of December, which is in about 3 days' time when this episode goes out, you are going to get 7 episodes per week. There will be an episode on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday.
Dude, like, when do you sleep? When do you sleep?
I don't. Depending on what tier you sign up for, you also get extra shows on top of those 7 episodes a week. You get You Run Extra, where me and Mark talk about other stuff that's sometimes not horror related. You get True Crime Extra. You also get True Crime episodes. You get loads of exclusive, loads of extra control over the show. And if you sign up at the mid tier, it's less than 20p a day. Like, all of you can afford that. So go and do that. Also, there's other ways to support the show. Tell a friend, share it on social media, review us on Apple or Spotify, and just generally do anything you can to share our stuff. It doesn't necessarily have to even be an episode. Share one of our reels, share a link, share a post, because all of those things link back to this show. You can follow us on all social media. We're at You Run Podcast. If you go on Instagram, you'll find Mark. He is at VHS from the Crypt, where he shows off what, honest to God, now is a VHS collection that makes Blockbuster look like the local video shop.
It makes me fucking sick.
Dude,
it makes me fucking feel sick how fucking jealous I am.
Lads, I'm concerned for myself. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting a bit worried now. The overflow is getting immense. I've got more than I know what to do with.
We spoke before we come on the air, and I now want you to confess to the world. How many VHS copies of Halloween 4 do you own?
11.
That's 11 too many. Fucking hell.
That's not enough. It's not enough, man. It's not enough. What if one of them breaks? What if one of them breaks and there is no streaming? You know, and then the next one breaks and there's no. What if we go into a bunker and I need 11 copies of backup?
You can also follow Mark at Reviews from the Crypt, where he reviews horror movies. He's probably reviewed Halloween 4 11 times as well.
No, I've only reviewed that once. You'll only pick that up once on there. But no, I mean, it's just getting nuts in here. It is. I need reining in a little bit. It's getting out of control. But the thing is, like, I feel like every time I get more, I'm at a point where I'm like, I've got everything now. And then I'll see something and I'm like, that'd look kind of cool on the shelf. And it just gets further and further in. And there's movies that, like, the one thing that I really, really appreciate about what I do when I collect these VHS tapes is it introduces me to a lot of movies that aren't available on streaming services and don't have physical uploads of these movies. There's a lot of people online that always complain, like, oh, there's this movie that I watched in the 90s from like Blockbuster, and I remember taking it home and having that like nostalgia for it and things like that. And I'm like, oh, I've seen that movie because I bought it like last week. So like most people spend their weekends going and buying DVDs of new shitty movies that have gone straight to DVD and stuff. But I'm still discovering unforgotten gems of the 80s and 90s that like I didn't even know were on my radar. Some of the stuff I've encountered is just been incredible, you know. And as I expand my horror knowledge, I feel like this is a vital part of being able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Big part.
Like, I'm just talking to myself. Yeah, I'm talking to myself now, and I'm trying to convince
You-
myself that I'm
you're-
doing the right thing.
You're justifying it to yourself, which is
I am.
amazing.
I am.
Um,
I am.
Someone call in, be the voice of reason, and tell Mark to stop.
No, never.
We're going to do some facts. We have few left.
Sorry.
It's fine. Martin Sheen did volunteer for this. He as soon as he got offered it, he's like, yes, always wanted to do a comic book movie. He later said that he wasn't overly happy with this, and then took on the role of Uncle Ben in The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012.
He did.
Which was his second second superhero movie. When John Luigi Leguani, whatever we want to call him, when he eats the pizza covered in all the maggots and worms?
I knew you were going to bring this up. Please
Yeah,
tell
I'm
me
happy
that
I
was
didn't.
real, like a proper Bush Tucker trial.
Yeah, proper real. Apparently he'd done it, and as soon as the director called cut, he then proceeded to walk over to the side and throw up everywhere.
You could see the cut where like he'd done it, and then like they cut so he could spit it out and then walk off down the rest of the alleyway. Like you could tell.
One scene with the clown. No, we've done that.
I fucked this right up, haven't I?
No, it's something else that John Leguini done. So that suit, an hour to get into, and an hour to get out of. They literally built the fat suit around him. So one day they had a particularly long shoot, and he needed a wee. And he spoke to the director, and the director went, it's going to be another like 45, 50 minutes before we can cut, and then you can go get out of the suit. He's like, that's fucking 2 hours. So he just relieved himself in the suit and apologized afterwards. Like, sorry about that. I couldn't hold it. You couldn't take me out, so I pissed all over the phone. You have to clean.
That must happen regularly. I watched an interview today of Thingy Campbell Bower, the Vecna character.
Yeah.
70 hours he estimates he spent in the makeup chair to do season 5, and he reckoned he did probably a similar sort of time frame for season 4.
Wow.
As you can tell, I'm major Stranger Things hype at the moment.
Me too.
But there must be occasions where he's been like, shit, man, like, fucking hell, like, you put this on in the morning and this is me for the day. They don't have zippers on the front throughout the day, you know what I mean? There must have been occasions.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Last one. After Spawn killed Jessica Priest at the business party, she was originally supposed to return through cybernetics. So she was going to be rebuilt by Martin Sheen, come back as a super kick-ass robot that was equally as strong and as fast and had abilities like Spawn. It was scrapped because it was too expensive for them to do. They simply didn't have the money to do it. Also, Jessica
all I visioned then was just like Fembot from Austin Powers with like nipple machine guns.
Honestly, it would not have been out of place in this movie.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't.
No, probably wouldn't.
It would have worked perfectly. BP, you probably already know this. You might not. So, at a $40 million budget, we know it didn't do that well. How much do you reckon it made globally?
I'll say nothing.
No,
So Mark can
It's
answer.
got to be. I'm getting quite good at this, to be fair. I've done all right over the past few times. I think it's made its money back, but I think that if you take into consideration the advertising campaign and all the rest of it, it's probably undersold. So I'm going to say 72 million.
You're definitely
far.
getting better. 87 million worldwide, which
Bearing in mind, when you used to ask me this question 2 years ago, I was usually about 150 million out every time.
Oh, every single time.
I mean, technically, they class that as a success.
Yeah,
You know, that's
the
the
budget.
thing.
But it doesn't warrant the sequels always usually dip. So therefore, if it's not substantially, they tend to think, right, well, we've done all right, but we're going to call it a day.
Yeah,
I do still wish we had another Spawn movie, though. That's what.
Yeah.
We
I
just
would-
need this is what I said earlier on. We just need a modern retelling. We need this story. Instead of remaking the fucking shit version of The Crow they did 2 years ago, this should have been the IP that they adapted.
So I wanted to ask you guys a question. If you could have someone direct, so a modern day director now, who would you want to make a Spawn movie?
Guillermo del Toro, all day.
It's a pretty, that's quite a good option.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice. I'd choose who's the guy who done Christmas Bloody Christmas?
Oh, Joe Begos.
Joe Begos. I'd have Joe Begos.
Oh,
do it.
Joe Begos.
Yeah,
His
really
new
good.
movie's coming out soon as well. The Alien Invasion.
Jimmy
movie.
and Sticks.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't wait. I went a bit out the box for this one, and there's a reason. And I went with Jordan Peele, and the reason.
No, that dude. Fuck that dude, man. Seriously, if I see another movie that says Jordan Peele on it, I'm not going.
Yeah, but I feel sorry for him because a lot of these movies that are getting slated aren't the movies that he's making. They're the ones
Stop
that
putting
he's
his name on it
producing.
then. Stop fucking
I know,
making
he's
out
got to
like
stop putting
Jordan
his name
Peele
on
had
shit
something to do
movies.
with it.
But I think it's because he's somebody that was originally attached to direct Akira.
Yeah.
And he's a big Akira fan.
What's
And
Akira?
Akira is like a manga, or like one of the most
animated,
popular mangas.
anime.
Yeah, like anime manga of all time. It's great. If you've never seen Akira, you have to. It's just it's a fucking great one.
The only one out of anime that actually really entices me is Clash of the Titans. Is it Clash of the Titans or
Yeah, that's all like
Titans?
newer stuff. I'm talking about like when it was like the 80s, 90s manga. So when it
early
was
90s.
manga. Yeah,
What's the
so
one
you had
that
like
Scarlett Johansson did? Is that like the 90s
Ghost
stuff?
in a Shell.
Ghost
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the Shell. Yeah, so that one, Ghost in the Shell, you've got things like Fist of the North Star, things like that. Guyver, like you were saying earlier, like that. When you had like early manga, that's when it was like really fucking dark and messed up,
Really
and loads
violent.
of weird fucking shit happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
Perfect
Guy for
Blue.
anime.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Perfect Blue was another one that was really fucked up. So there was loads of them around the 80s and 90s. Blood, The Last Vampire, that's a fucking great one. I forgot what I was fucking talking about now. I don't even know.
Jordan Peele.
I'm just what was I talking about? I'm just
Jordan
Yellow.
Peele attached to
yeah,
Akira.
Jordan Peele. So anyway, so Akira was, you fucking remember more than me. But Akira is great, and he was going to make an Akira movie. And also, Jordan Peele is a very visual director as well. So he's just one of those people. And also, with his name attached to it, he's going to get a slightly like a bigger budget and so on.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where I'm like, if he took it, he's a visual director. He wanted to make Akira, so he sort of understands that world because he loves that world outside of filmmaking. He loves all the anime sort of stuff anyway. So he's probably familiar with what Spawn is. And also the fact that he would get like a bigger budget. That's why I sort of was just like, oh, that makes sense to me. I don't know whether it'd be any good, but
See, I think the way forward is all three of our picks have to direct a Spawn movie, and then we'll do them all. That'll work. We've had some voicemails this week. There's some hate for me and Mark. It's a weekly thing now. So let's keep
Why?
we say things and people get upset. They're so
Scott
sensitive.
says things usually. To be fair,
Yeah.
I've been pretty good recently. I feel like I'm trying my best to not get abused.
Yeah,
And I feel like you're taking the reins more than I am these days.
We're a team. We're a team.
No. You weren't a team 2 years ago when it was me getting fucking belittled every single week on voice notes.
Yeah, but now I've taken over and I'm giving you like you've got some time.
Yeah, all
off
right,
now.
you want my help now.
Yeah. Right, let's see what we got.
Hey guys, I've just finished listening to the Zombievers episode. I'm so glad Mark gave this another chance because when you were advertising the episode and saying how much Mark hated it, I just couldn't believe it because I thought this was really his wheelhouse. I love this stupid film. So I'm glad you both kind of came round on it and it got pretty decent scores. And I got a triple mention on this episode. Thank you very much for that. I do have more to say. I will be back.
And
It's nice to see Pervy Beck dropping a message in this week.
Funnily enough, she come back straight after to address the fact that we referred to her as Pervy Beck because she's always talking about dicks and tits and vibrators. But here we are.
So as for the caption this, I know you guys mention I keep talking a lot about dick and tits apparently, but you guys provoke this because of the pictures you put up. Don't tell me, Scott, that the pictures you use for capturing this image, you don't expect all the dirty comments you get.
I don't know what you mean. I just
Couldn't
picked
possibly.
innocent. I pick innocent shots from the movie, and you just turn it to smut every week. It's got nothing to do.
This
with
is true. Yeah, you need help, Beck.
Yeah.
And we're
You
here
see
for you
smart,
through
that's
this
your own
difficult-
fault.
Exactly. Like you're reading too much into it. Becky still wasn't done. She come back again.
And also, I'm not going to go into this, but that vibrator talk that you guys were having, I mean, it says a lot about you two, I must say.
What was we talking about vibrators? I feel like I need to defend myself here.
We were talking about the remote control vibrators where you give the vibrator to your missus, she puts it wherever, and then you buzz her in public. And I said the only entertaining thing of that would be when she brings a tray of beer back and you can zap her and she tips it on someone. Like,
Listen, Beck, it doesn't say a lot about me. In fact, it probably does. We don't need toys. We don't need toys in our household, all right? I'm a man of my house.
I hope that there's a fourth one, and all it is is Becky just going, "Oh, and fuck off."
It would be fitting at this point.
Yeah.
And then there's a message for me, and like there was lots of messages that come after this in the group chat because I think I inadvertently annoyed Heather. Well, this is where we are.
Look, it is 6:50 here in the morning. I'm up early because I don't feel well. And my baby girl daughter over here, Stevie, wakes up at the fucking ass crack of dawn now. The time changed, so it's like I'm going to wake up early. Campbell's still asleep. Yes. So I just listen to that, her talking, Zoe. I don't fucking sound anything like her. I think she might be putting a little slight affect to her voice to sound, I don't know, like wherever they're supposed to be. I have seen this movie. It's been a long time since I've watched it. I thought it was funny and like real stupid, so I didn't mind the movie. It wasn't bad. But I don't look like her. Like, I don't, those bangs. Scott, your fucking days are getting counted slowly but surely with me. You need to understand that not all American people look the same, okay? And not all of us sound the same. According to IMDb, she is from Colorado, which is way north of me. Northwest, I think. No, wait. Yeah, northwest, I think. So get your fucking facts together. I don't even know what else to say. I don't feel good. It was funny, but also her little boobies, or she has like teenage boobies. My fucking boobs are mature and have fed 4 babies. Get out of here. I can knock your fucking ass out with one of my tits. You better quit with that shit anyways. Okay. Y'all have a great day. This isn't directed at Mark. Mark seemed to be acting like a good boy, so we're good. Ha ha. Bye.
But
Woo!
now I'm going to
You
cause
best
trouble.
get your facts together, Scott.
I'm going to be honest with you. Heather sounds very sexy when she's been up late herding cattle.
Yeah.
On the
You know
rack.
what? I was
I'll
not
be
going to
honest with
say
you.
anything. But I was just like, that's fucking.
That
got me going,
I was into that then, Heather. I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't want you to come at me. Yeehaw! I apologize now, but hey, man, that was like that episode of Friends where Phoebe gets a cold. You know, I was down with that shit.
I tell you something. There is something about the southern voice gets me fucking big time. Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. Male or female, I couldn't give a shit. As soon as you go southern on me, that's it. I'm weak at the knees.
Well, there you go. And just like that, the heat is off of me, and I've
No. Jokes aside, Heather, I'm sorry if Stevie's giving you a hard time, man, and you're not sleeping very well, but it works for you, man. I'll be honest. Stick with it.
Don't try and get out of it.
I know,
anyway.
but like, it was fun for me this week because you would come like that was nothing compared to the kind of heat you were getting in the group chat. Like, I was calling for you to go to jail.
I got roasted in the group chat, and Heather's like, "I can't believe you said she looks like me. I can't believe you said."
I was fully just encouraging Heather all the way.
Yeah,
I was like, "Yeah, Heather,
like,
he's disgusting. He's disgusting. I can't believe he did that this week."
Such a bad man.
What ended it was when I went, "Look, Heather. At the end of the day, I'm comparing you to a young hot woman who had her tits out, who sounded sexy and looked sexy. Like, I stand by what I said. What's the issue?" And Heather kind of went, Well, when you put it like that, nothing really. I could see Mark at home going, "Motherfucker!"
Yeah, I
out
was
there,
ready.
damn
I
it."
was ready. I don't even think I've continued the conversation after that point. I was like,
No, you
fucking
haven't.
dickhead, man. You get
He's
one
fucking
kick
got
out
out
of
of
jail
it.
free card and you've used it.
Yeah. Anyway, it is time to do this.
Broken Spirit 2.0.
I ain't gonna get fucking none of these.
It is time for that quiz. It is 10 questions. Everyone you get correct, you get 10 points. If you get one wrong, it is game over and you leave with nothing. But you can stop at any point and go, I've got 6 right. I'm going to take my 60 points and take my spot on the leaderboard. All of the questions are general knowledge horror questions. They start incredibly easy to the point that if you get the first 3 wrong, there's something wrong. Like you're having a bad day. After that, they get harder.
Though. It has happened.
It has happened. It's happened. Going back quite a while now, when we first done Broken Spirit, there is an episode that got edited and redone because the first question on Broken Spirit I got wrong. And Mark went, we can't do that. And we literally started it again and cut that whole segment because it would have taken.
Here we go again.
Yeah. Question is, BP, who do you want to ask you the first question, me or Mark?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna get it wrong, aren't I? Literally, my anxiety is going fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it's one of those where, like, if you pick me or you pick Scott, neither of us you are going to go easy on you. So it's like there is no level of difficulty required with who you pick first.
No, the first question is every single person in the horror community knows the answer to the first question.
Oh, fuck, don't say that. All right, well, go on, Scott, you go first.
Wrong.
Scott, go first then. If you've got one that everyone apart from me knows.
Okay, no, I'll be gobsmacked if you don't know this. What is the first name of Sidney Prescott's mother in the Scream franchise?
Oh, for fuck's sake!
No!
Mega. I'll close these notes on the quiz. I don't think I'll need them for the rest.
I honestly, fuck, Maureen.
Correct. Well done.
Oh fuck!
I'll just open it back up.
Literally, no word of a lie. I nearly had a panic attack. I'm not going to be good at these. You're talking to somebody who has 0 brains, who also has a memory problem. I can't remember.
I think that's a very harsh opinion of yourself. You're a very intelligent man in terms of horror knowledge. You know, your opinions
it's
are very
just the glasses. They make me look cleverer than I
am. Right, let's dive into it then. It's question number 2. How often does a creeper rise in the Jeepers Creepers franchise?
23 years.
That is correct. See, don't undersell yourself, my friend. You know what you're talking about.
I nearly said
Get
26.
That confidence through. Get that confidence through. Let's have a buzz around with you and Alex.
These are really hard.
Question number 3. The novel Dracula was released in 1897, but what year was the original Nosferatu released?
Oh, 1922.
That's correct. 3 for 3.
I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. In terms of our usual comparison of Broken Spirit quizzes, I think we're out the gate pretty hard this week.
I don't know.
I think these are like back end questions. Maybe not number 1, but I think 2 and 3 are like. I feel like they're pretty harsh, man.
You knew I was coming on, and let's mug this fuck right over.
No, I don't think that's the case either. I just think I'm looking at them myself now, and I'd be like, I wouldn't be surprised to see these pop up at like sort of like 7 or 8, not 2 or 3.
Do you know what? You've made me feel better about myself because
from
this point onwards, it's all downhill.
Doing very well. That's my point. You're doing very, very well. But I just think Scott's being a bit of a dickhead this week, if I'm honest with you.
Right, let me lose on this one.
Question number 4. Which actor appears in these 3 horror movies? The Purge, Sinister, and The Black Phone?
Ethan Hawke.
See, that's the kind of question I would expect for 2 or 3. Not what year was Nosferatu released.
It doesn't matter because you got 4 out of 4. Question number 5. What horror movie sees a group of friends accidentally summon a demon while on a Zoom call?
Host.
Correct. 5 for 5. Fucking flying through them.
Mate, 50% of the way through, Matt, and you're doing
You
it
have
without
no-
breaking a sweat.
You
This
have
is-
you
this
have
is
no
pretty good.
idea how fucking clenched my arsehole is.
Oh man, I don't need the idea of your chocolate starfish in my brain right now.
My friend
Right,
does.
here we go. Question number 6. What year was It Follows released?
It Follows. Oh fuck, 20. Oh no, it could be one of them. This is where
what are you saying? What are you saying? What you think? Where's your brain at?
So I'm actually going to be putting out a video hopefully before the end of the year. But now it's made me talking about 10 movies from the last 10 years that I think everybody should see, or what I think are the best ones. It Follows.
So you ranked It Follow on that list, so you should know what year you placed it.
But there's 2 of them that I cannot remember between.
Right,
and
what
it's either 2016 or 2014.
Right, okay.
I'll be honest with you. You're correct. One of those is the correct answer.
One of those is the correct answer. So which were the 2 movies that you're between? Which one was 2016? Which one was 2000?
Oh no, they weren't like in chronological order. They're just like movies, as in out of these 10 years, you've got to see it, out of the last decade. But now I can't remember because I know The Guest was 2014. Do you know what? I'm just going to be wrong. I'm going to say 2014, and it can be wrong.
You're not wrong. That is the correct answer. You had me going for a minute when you said The Guest was 2014. So I was like, oh, maybe that's on his list as well. No, well done, sir. That's the correct answer.
Yeah, 6 for 6. Question number 7. Where does the movie The Thing from 1982 take place?
Antarctica.
Dude, that's like question 1. This is what I mean about your quiz this week. That's like... Let's not waste any time. Question number 8. What brand of doll is Chucky? Again! Question number 1, man.
Maybe I put them the wrong way round. Oh,
I think you have, which means, Alex, make sure you've got some free time.
Question number 9. This is where I really ramped up the difficulty.
Oh, fucking hell.
In Scream 6, how many people wear the ghost face mask?
Oh, I hate that. Well, this is where I lose because I hate this movie. As in, how many people were the killers, or how many people wearing the actual mask?
How many people?
I think, do you know what the thing is, right, BP? All I'm going to say is think about the beginning, think about the end. Okay, I kind of did help you actually when I said
you really did, yeah.
Yeah,
so
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
because it's a really misleading question. I think
honestly, I hate the movie so much that I don't know. So I'm just gonna go with.
We'll work it out. How many killers were there?
How many killers were at the end?
I'm just gonna say 5.
Dude, all right, listen. Don't let him get in your head, BP. Don't let him get in your head.
It's correct. It's 5.
Well, all I was thinking was to start with Samara Weaving. You've got 1. You've got 3 killers, and then you've got Melissa Barrera.
Yeah, that's correct. You had Jason Quinn.
Fucking hell, that was
Ethan,
a fucking great guess.
That's 5 out of fucking 9 out of 9.
Off the top of my head, I didn't check the answers. I thought the answer was 6 because I worked it out wrong. I do apologize.
Right, so I was right on that one.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, that's great. You're on question number 10.
Oh, fucking hell!
So this is
I'm
it.
going to top myself
if you get this
if
right,
I get this one wrong.
If you get this right, you are now drawing with Alex. We may potentially have one more guest on in December, which means it might be a 3-way tie depending on the guest. We'll be able to establish that very early on, depending on who the guest is. So it might just be between you and Alex. No pressure. And remember, if you don't know the answer, you can walk away with your 90 points and you can still be very high up on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
However,
joint second you'd be.
You would be joint second after this. However, if you go for this and you win, me and Scott have got some conversations that we need to have about how we're going to move forward with this, because that will be 2 people in first place.
Yeah. I could do you guys a favour.
I'm building this up for tension. We'll probably
Yeah.
put some like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music behind me when I'm doing this.
Mate, my fucking heart rate thing's going on my watch right now.
I can see you vibrating in your chair. Mate.
I know.
Calm down.
Jesus
Here we
Christ.
go. Right, question number 10. In The Evil Dead 1981, a group of college kids take on a supernatural force. But at what college did they attend?
Michigan State.
Oh, he's only got a
Motherfucker!
Did I do it?
Yeah, you did.
I can tell you why, because they're
I
all from,
would-
all of them, Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, Ted, Scott Spiegel, they're from Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
See, you spent a lot of this episode saying that you're a very unintelligent person. But it's where you focus your energy that counts. And clearly that is shown tonight because you and your horror knowledge is exceptional, sir. Congratulations. You have got 10 out of 10.
And I'll be honest, I didn't even put a sound bite in to do it because I didn't think anyone was going to get it. So I've just literally dragged one in. So here you go. Oh, this is more anticlimactic.
That's very underwhelming.
It's very underwhelming. I think it's got a bit of beat to it. There you go.
That's like me in
amazing performance, sir. Well
Yeah.
done. You should be very proud of that. Your horror knowledge is exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean,
incredible.
being the old man that I am, I would hope that I would know at least half of those. So I would be happy with half. But
You
knowing all
breezed
of
through
them,
that without ease, mate. There was no hesitation. This segment usually takes a lot longer because there is hesitation, there is questioning, there is doubt. You flew through that. Well done. That is a performance to be proud of.
I can now keep my horror podcaster card.
You can, because we were close to revoking it and coming in and taking your mic from your house. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I heard about it.
Right, call them off, Scott. They don't need to break in.
Yeah, you could have cut me off at 9.
Incredible performance, and that brings us to the end of the episode where we're going to round this up. I'm going to take this first because I think I'm probably going to have quite a negative view on this. Like, I loved Spawn growing up. Like, this character for me was like he sat on the same level and the same plane in my head as Blade. Like, I had dreams as a teenager of like, how cool would it be to have Blade and Spawn go head to head, or Blade and Spawn? Like, that was where my mind was. Always thought his suit was cool. The powers were amazing. I thought the Violator was this really evil, vindictive, horrible character. And I think somewhere in my head, I glossed over the fact that this, for the most part, is a PlayStation 1 game. And like, I ignored all of that. And I was like, oh, it's cool. Like, and all the bits, like rewatching it, all the bits that I remember from being a kid, it's like, oh, that's so fucking cool. They're still cool now. There's just all this bloat and shit around it that you could chop away and do something else more impactful. And I found it really underwhelming. And like, this is a movie I thought I was coming in, I was going to be like, I love it. I loved it as a kid. I love it now. It's a 5 out of 5, but it's not. And I wish it was. Like, I don't want to be too harsh on this because I still hold a huge level of nostalgia for it. And I will watch this again. Like, it's not like I'm like, oh, I hated it, never watching it. I will watch it, but I'll dip in and out. I'll dip in and pay attention when the Violator is just generally being an arsehole. I'll dip back in when Spawn's doing cool shit with his suit. And then I'll disappear when Martin Sheen's going on a monologue about how he's going to end the world with his new virus. Like, I don't care. I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. And if I'm honest, I think I'm being generous. It probably doesn't deserve that. Where are you with this, BP?
I'm not far away from where you are. It's a movie that I watched so many times when I was a kid, and this was like the type of movies that were coming out around that sort of time. Like, I was, a big fan of The Crow, like that's one of my favorite movies of all time, and anything that was like around that sort of stuff. I was a fan of the comics. When I was a kid, I had I was always having comics and stuff. So Spawn was something that I knew. It just doesn't age well in regards to, like, in my brain of what I remember it as and what it is now. And when you're a kid, like, this is, like I said, like pretty much at the top, like when you're a kid, this is like an adult movie. And when you're an adult, this is a kids movie, and it's like the whole roles are reversed. And that sort of, for me, being the adult that still loves the Spawn character, it's then it all becomes about the opportunities missed, where you're like, oh fuck, like this could be, and then it makes you want to have this now, you know, like you want somebody to do this right now, and you think that I think that it could be fucking awesome if they made a Spawn movie, because there's so much you know, lore and story and, you know, concept behind what Spawn is, and the Sam and Twitch stuff. You know, there's so much you can do with Spawn. Basically, they got the wrong person to do it. Simple as that as well. You know, the director was, you know, he's not a good director. It was almost as if it's director for hire, which is really fucking weird, where they're like, here's a director, but we're still going to give him 40 million to make a Spawn movie. Like, that's weird to me. Like, get somebody decent to make the movie and then give them 40 million. But it didn't happen, this movie. So yeah, I'm very similar with you, Scott, where I mean, you know, giving it a score, I would give this 3 out of 5 now, but I was the same when I was a kid, you know, sitting there watching Spawn, and then straight afterwards I would sit there drawing Spawn, and I would listen to the soundtrack, you know, you know, on CD that I've still got somewhere, like underneath my bed. I've still got all my old CDs, and I've got the Spawn soundtrack, and listening to the Marilyn Manson one, although he's cancelled. But I thought he was when he got his ribs removed. Yeah,
he cancelled again now. Are we not allowed Marilyn Manson?
No, we're not allowed. Marilyn Manson's still cancelled. You know,
what's he done now?
Well, I think he beats up women. I think he's just not very good at being a nice person.
He's just not good at being normal, I think, is his issue.
He's just not a normal person. But no, but yeah, I don't think we're allowed to, like, I mean, you know, I mean, I'm never going to not listen. Like, you know, Fight Song is one of my favorite songs of all time. So I listen to that.
Artist, my friend, you can do it.
Yeah, I pretty much listen to that song every single day, and it gets me going. And so does my daughter now, and I'm like, well, you know, that's the way that the world goes. But yeah, I think I'm just, it's one of those movies that I watch and I'm gutted. That's the way I feel about this. Because I'm like, when I was a kid, this was one of my go-tos, and there are some cool bits about it, Spawn being the cool part of it. But it hits differently, a lot different now, which is sad.
Yeah. First time Mark, I'm really curious. Like your first watch of Spawn with no nostalgia, this could go anywhere.
I think for me, one of the takeaways for me from this episode particularly is that I think both of you this evening have done a disservice to your scores. I feel like you've scored it based on what you feel is the minimum of what you can get away with based on your nostalgia love for the movie. I don't feel like either of you want to score this movie a 3 out of 5. In your heart of hearts, I don't think like either of you. I feel like you're both 2.5 out of 5 is where your middle ground. And then your nostalgia kicks in and you give it that little bit extra just because you know you loved it when you were kids. But I don't feel like that's a faithful score that you want to give this movie if you were critically giving it what you feel it deserves. Yeah, that's not to say that I'm going to score it lower. I'm just saying based on your roundups and where you got to through your roundups to where you ended up with your score, they don't marry up.
Yeah, I score an enjoyment. I enjoyed this at 2.5. It got an extra 0.5 point because I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more when I was a kid. So yeah, you're right in what you're saying. But
yeah, I'm not attacking either of you. I'm just saying it just felt like it was like one of those things where both of you felt so disheartened, like you were burying your dog in a back garden, and then you scored it much higher than I feel like you wanted to.
Well, that's the thing. This was like burying our childhood pet that we loved, and then it turned out that it was an arsehole and it bit me.
There is a point to my conversation. There's a reason I'm coming at you like this, is because for me, as somebody who has never had any attachment to this movie growing up, and watching this with fresh eyes in 2025 as opposed to 97, which is kind of where I think we're all agreed on when this came out within this episode, even though neither of us are 100% sure. For me, I quite enjoyed it. I quite enjoyed my time with this movie because it was very much a product of its time. I grew up on movies of this era, and I'm a big fan of superhero movies to a certain degree. I'm not a big Marvel nerd, but I'm very much enthralled by the curiosity that comes with the supernatural element that superhero movies present. And I think one of the strongest elements of the Spawn movie for me was how much it dived into that lore of good versus evil and heaven and hell. And I like movies like that. As much as throughout this podcast's history, I've always been dead against religious horror movies, I'm a big fan of John Constantine. I think that I love the concept of hell. And I think Spawn presents that movie and the ideology of hell very, very well. I like the character of Spawn. I like the design of Spawn. And I think the possibilities of his character are very endless, as I'm sure the comic books have presented over the years, something that I'm not attached to or familiar with. But I was heavily invested in this movie based on what it presented and the ideas that had sort of been there, even though not executed very well. So from a creativity standpoint, which this is probably more credited to Todd McFarlane than it is to the movie itself, I really enjoyed my time with this movie. But then when I strip it down and I peel the movie apart and I talk about the acting, which is very much a product of its time, very campy, very on the nose, very sort of James Bond villain-esque throughout. I don't think Michael Jai White, I think that's how you pronounce his name, I don't think he was a very good Spawn. I think there is many other actors that were around at this time that I think would have done a much better job and would have made a much better sort of Christian Bale-esque take on the character than he did. The editing, as I've already mentioned throughout this episode, is diabolical to the point where it's like hurtful on the eyes of how fucking nasty it is. The score's great. The practical effects when used are fantastic. I love the practical design and the animatronics used to create the I want to say Velocipaster, because that's what we did last week. The Violator. I thought he was fucking amazing. He looked really, really cool when he was used in practical mode. The CGI is just fucking unforgivable. Let's be honest with you guys. The CGI in this movie is unforgivable, and it's a character study of how not to make CGI in a mainstay mass production Hollywood movie. It's fucking bad. But I feel like, considering I don't have the attachment that you guys have, and I still enjoyed it thoroughly based on what I kind of saw as possibility. And I think that was what enticed me the most, was like, fuck, man, if this was remade today, with a Marvel budget and a sort of Guillermo del Toro kind of attitude towards it, it would be groundbreaking, in my opinion. And I think it would be one of those movies that people, with this whole, the thing that I always take away is like the thing that, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it today, Iron Man being the first one, we were all like very young teens, adolescents, mid-20s, some of us a lot younger than that when that Iron Man movie came out. And one thing that I don't think the Marvel movies do very well is grow with their audience, especially considering they have a starting point for their lineage. Harry Potter, for example, is a movie that grew with its audience. The characters grew, the darkness and the tone of those movies grew as the movies progressed, because the audience grew older who joined at that starting point. Marvel movies, if you went back and you grew with those, they should be a lot darker than what they are now, because the adults who started that 10, 15, 20 years ago are at a point in their life now where the campy, silly tone of those first movies has now changed. But then you're trying to introduce a newer audience into a movie franchise that needs 30 movies for you to go back and watch. However, Spawn, if you're into superhero movies and that kind of thing, I feel like now is the perfect time to remake this movie. Now is the time where you make an R-rated, all-out fucking nasty, hell-based, violent Spawn movie. Make it R-rated, and I feel like it would just fucking rocket into the stratosphere of successfulness. And I think based on the story that I experienced with this very, very tame version of what the possibilities are, I really enjoyed it. I did. And I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't. Don't get me wrong; it's fucking littered with flaws throughout. But do I score it higher than you guys? That would be weird. That would be weird, wouldn't it?
It would be a bit weird, but if you want to,
no, I don't because the movie's shite. It's a 2 out of 5, but again, it's a very good 2 out of 5 for me. Like for somebody who'd never grew up with Spawn, and considering how bad this movie actually is when you break it down in terms of movie making, 2 out of 5 is a very good score for what Spawn is.
Yeah,
well, what I really love is the fact that what you love most about it is the source, is what comes from the source material.
Yeah. I love the idea of this movie.
Yeah, and then that's why we need like comics and graphic novels and everything like that, because they're creating so much of what we see, and the source material is always so what's integral to the special source to it all. So when they always move away from it, it never works as well.
No,
and so that's the thing. So
I think this movie's done more harm than good to the Spawn IP than anything else. I think had it not been for this movie coming out in the 90s like it did, we would have probably had a successful movie franchise based off the Spawn character in the mid 2000s and onwards, similar to what we have with Deadpool. Whereas Deadpool wasn't a successful IP until it was enough of a momentum with the superhero genre for them to pick up something that was such a wildly left field character and introduce that into mainstay cinema. Spawn's the same. Had Todd McFarlane just sat on this and just waited and fucking nursed his eggs, I think like now, maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10 years ago would have been the right time for this movie and this character. But when it was, it wasn't the right time, I don't think. And that's all detriment to the failing of the film.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that completely. It's one of those. We have comments on Spotify, we've got comments on YouTube, we've got comments on Patreon. Like, let us know what you think of Spawn. BP, it is now time for you to sell yourself. You've already proven that you're incredibly entertaining. You've proven that your horror knowledge is exceptional. Now, if you apply the same techniques to advertising your show, and then everyone can come listen to you as well, and it's a win-win-win-win-win episode for you. And for us.
If me getting 10 out of 10 on a quiz that I thought I was going to get 0 on isn't enough for you to go, he knows a little bit about horror, I don't know what the fuck you want. Like, simple as that. Like, I don't know. I'm all for promoting the show because you know me, I think everything that I do is shit, which isn't great for making people come to enjoy the podcast and stuff. But it's just with Let's Talk Horror, it is purely, so I mean, recently, I don't know when this properly comes out, but still pretty recently, the show has now turned 5 years old. So we've been doing it, same as you guys as well. We're doing it, on the journey around the same sort of time. And it's been a wild journey, but I keep on going back to like why I called it Let's Talk Horror. And that's purely because that's what it is all about. It's about me having conversations with people like Scott and Mark, people on my show about horror, making it as fun, as chaotic as my stupid dumb brain will allow it to be, but also going in depth and very honestly about horror. The advantage that I have, or not necessarily the advantage, but the difference sometimes that I have is because of outside of this with wanting to be a filmmaker and an actor and so on like that, I get to add those extra dimensions into talking about the movies themselves as well. So I try and do everything I can on the podcast to have very honest conversations. I do live streams on the last Thursday of every month where I do a quiz, which would mean that I should be good at quizzes, but I probably as we've shown, I'm the fucking king of them. I'm the smartest man alive. And then I also do a Saturday morning show where I go through the week's horror movie news on our YouTube channel. I'm just sort of everywhere. I don't have to like what I do, but as long as other people do, that's all that matters. And I love doing this. I don't love all the other shit that comes with it, like the promo and the editing. I love this. This right here is like therapy to me. So if you go and enjoy what I do, then I get to keep having therapy for free.
Yeah, and go
we can all get behind.
Let's Talk Horror channel on a little bit like us, pretty much every single social media known to man, you will find a variation of Let's Talk Horror channel. Instagram is the place you need to go follow BP. Go and follow his YouTube. Go and show him some support. In this episode, there's a link to his Spotify and there's a link to his YouTube channel. So you can click on those if you're incredibly lazy, which we found you are, because you very rarely go anywhere unless we're already there. Like if we tell you to go somewhere, you don't actually go there. So you don't need to go anywhere. If you just scroll down like an inch on your screen on your phone, there's a link right there. You can click it and go straight to it. You don't even need to do anything. A huge thank you, BP, for coming on. We love having you on. You always bring a unique tone, and fucking who knew Spawn is RoboCop? Like that's
well, apparently every fucking movie's RoboCop.
Every movie is RoboCop.
We're going to be back next week, and next week we begin our December run, which means for the first time in a year, you are going to hear where is it? This.
I'm ready for Christmas, man. I might get my tree out this week, and we're recording like mid-November. I think I'm about ready to get my tree up there.
Yeah, I'm there as well. Yeah, me too. And next week you have chosen the movie Dead Snow, which I have a lot to say about Dead Snow and Dead Snow 2. I know we're not covering Dead Snow 2, but fuck, I'm going to talk about it. So until then, make sure you follow us. Make sure you go to our Patreon. Make sure you go to our YouTube. Make sure you do all those things. Do all the same things for BP. And until next time, have a wonderful week. And we will see you all very, very soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
You want to die tonight?
Late at night, I turn into your show, where you talk horror with a unique flow. Your voice is like sirens, draws me in, as you pick apart movies for murder and sin. The dad jokes you tell sets the scene. I hang on every word lost in the screen. Your passion for fear is contagious enough. You make me believe in Mark's overblown roundups. You run podcasts or a movie review, unveiling facts and playing games too.